Hey guys, it's Harleywood. Today we're going to take a look at a knife sharpener whose predecessor I reviewed a couple years ago. And it is a tremendously popular video. It was the Hapstone, I believe it was the V5 or V6. It was one of those two, I can't remember. I've since given it away to a family member and that person is enjoying it. Today we're going to take a look at the M2, and it addresses many of the issues that I wouldn't even really call them issues. There were just things that could have been improved upon in that original version, and this certainly does it. So right off the bat, one of the nicest things was I opened up the box and the dang thing is pretty much put together. I'm going to post a link in the description below where you can go watch that video on the previous Hapstone version. You pretty much had to put every nut and bolt together with, you know, not everyone, but you get the point. This thing, all I had to do was put this tower rod on here and hook on the pole here. That was it. I mean, it was literally a 90-second setup. So right out of the box, very, very pleased with that. This is also smaller than the original version. The other one was quite long. My workbench is 2 feet deep, and I used to find that the back of the rod here, sometimes when I was sharpening, would go back and hit the wall if I didn't have this thing pulled all the way to the front of the workbench. The previous version, not this one. Let's take a closer look, and then we'll show you what makes this one so great. The first thing that I absolutely love, I saw this at Blade Show and I was like, wow, tremendous improvement, is this simple little hook right here. On the previous version, it did not have this retention hook. So when you weren't using the sharpening arm here, you either had to set it down on your knife, or if you were actually working, adjusting the knife or something, you would have to set it down way over here. You know, if you had a blade like this, you'd have to move it and set it down out of the way. With this, you can simply hook it on that retention arm and it keeps it up and out of the way so you can do whatever you need to do. All right, take a look at the tower right here. You see all the measurements. You have 15, 18, 20, 25, 30, 35, and 40. Those are the various degrees. Now these notches on here are approximations. It's going to depend on a lot of things. It's going to depend on the thickness of the stones that you're using. It's going to depend on how deep the actual blade is and pushed off the edge of the table here. It's going to get you in the ballpark. If you really want to be precise, it's advisable to get you one of these. So you can see I've actually zeroed it on the deck here. Every time you move it, it changes a little bit. So let's zero that out there. All right, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move the stone out on top. You can see I was set at the 15 there. If I set this on here, it is right at 15 degrees. So with the Hapstone stones, it's pretty damn accurate. Now, if you're going to throw other stones on here, KMEs or Apex Edge Pro stones, they're going to work, but you may want one of these digital things if you really want to hone in on an exact angle. I'm going to sharpen some of my wife's kitchen knives today. If memory serves, this knife was an 11-degree bevel on it. So what I'm going to do, if you've never seen this trick, I'm going to run a Sharpie line on the actual grind surface. I'm going to verify. I'm just going to set the stone on there. Good enough for government work, 11.3. And then I'm just going to run it one time. And yep, it removed just about all of that marker that I had on there. Let's talk about a few of the things that are upgrades from the previous version. Now, this is a stainless knife. Contrary to popular belief, a lot of stainless knives are magnetic. There are 3 super powerful magnets right here. Watch how it snaps on here. If you have a really expensive knife, you may want to do this with some care. All right. Now, the previous one had a rubber topper over it. I kind of wouldn't mind seeing that same application here. However, you could just as easily put a little piece of paper towel or something over it. Now, on the previous version that I had, the edge of the knife stuck out off the table a little bit. And when I was sharpening, you could see the knife flexing a little bit. It was doing this as it was sharpening. Part of that was me putting a little bit too much pressure on it. And one of the things that I found on that previous version, it has a different setup in the back here. This one is really good if you want to hold the back of the knife so it doesn't slide backwards, and you can also do slight angles. so that you can accommodate holding the knife on here in different ways if you have a recurve or something like that. But on the other one, this middle piece, I used to use it for a clamp. I just opened it up enough so that I could set it down on top of the knife, tightened it down. Totally not what it's for, but it worked. Okay, and then that kept it from flexing. Not what it was for, it worked. Well, they've addressed it with this one. So let me take the knife back off here. This little piece here helps you to prevent that flex. Let me get these out of the way. I'm going to set this down, and I'm going to move this up just until it's under that the grind surface there. Then I'm going to tighten that down, and now there is no way that that knife will flex as I'm running the stone over it. If you have a very thin blade, you may want to put the point closer in, otherwise you could get a little bit of flex out there on the tip. No one likes flex on the tip. Thanksgiving is just a week away, so the wife told me the knives have to be done by then. Whew. That'll work. All right, so a real quick demo of the Hapstone M2. They have several options for the stones. These are what they call their basic stones, and those are included for the $149 price point. For a lot of you guys, that's going to be pretty enticing. If you've been watching the channel, if you've watched my playlist on knife sharpeners, I've reviewed things from this price point range all the way up to $1,200, $1,300, you know, with some really expensive wicked edge systems and all their stones. This is actually a really good price point. There are other stone options, including silica carbide, diamond stones, a couple others. So I'll post a link in the description below where you can get this. It's funny, I got so used to using the Tormek. For me, the Tormek is about efficiency, and I love how fast it is. And with the Japanese Waterstone 4000 grit produces amazing edges. But oftentimes you lose touch with how zen, for lack of a better term, knife sharpening can be. So getting back and using this and kind of getting in the groove with the with the stone and the blade, it was somewhat therapeutic, I'll say. It's actually really cool to get back into the zen. I haven't used my wicked edge for years, since I got the Tormek, and that was one of the things that I liked about the wicked edge. If you just want to zone out and do some work and sharpen a knife or two, it's going to take you quite a while, depending on how bad the blade is compared to the Tormek, but there is that kind of zen factor. So this brings it back, and for a fraction of the price point. Link in the description below where you can get it. Thank you for watching, guys. If you like this video, please hit that subscribe button below. Got lots more videos to come, and we'll see you on the next one.